We are in Vaughn's. Yes.
I like it better than when there's...
Yes. Wait. Is it still rolling? Yeah. We are in Vaughn's. Dun, dun, dun.
Like the new phone?
I already showed him this morning.
Oh, it's good.
Okay. We are in Vaughn's. And this is what we're supposed to get.
You got all the Febreze and it smells good. And a toilet paper. Oh yeah, doggy wipes.
Wait, Noah. Take it. Now, what do we gotta look at today? Open it up.
Okay, we're getting 1 milk, 2%, 3 Gatorades, fruit punch,
Taco Bell sauce. Yes, we are ghetto like that. We gotta go to Taco Bell and get the sauce.
And that's the number.
And 2
liters of Mountain Dew, and there's 2 of them for me and him, and 1 liter of Vaughn's brand fruit punch.
Let's go. Hope anybody see that. They probably don't even know what it means.
What?
That phone number.
Oh yeah, that's a phone number in case we get in trouble.
Yeah, that's the phone number just in case we get in trouble. So don't you guys prank call us. Now, what's the first thing we're getting? 2 liter? 2 liter? Yes, indeed. We got the 2 liter. 2%? Wait, no, it's not 2 liter. What the heck? It's 2%, dog. Now what we're getting? Let me see that.
Did we even... yeah, we get those at the end. We need to get a shopping cart for
3
all this.
Gatorades? Yes, let us go get a shopping cart.
I'll go get a shopping cart. Bye.
Put that move.
What?
Put that move back and let's go get a shopping cart.
I'm gonna go.
Okay, let's go. Yes, it's
okay,
a very
you
formal.
Get the shopping cart.
No, you come with me. We gotta make ourselves a video, man. Make ourselves. Whoa. Oh, I can zoom up with the camera. Can I?
Hey.
Good. How you doing? Oh yeah, look at that. He knows us very well.
Yeah.
Hey, you can't walk out of here with the milk. So stay right here. Stay right here.
So stay right here while you go get the shopping cart.
I didn't know you can zoom up with this camera. Look at that. Let's us look at the snack time. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, I gotta get a shopping cart. Everybody with me junk his butt. Wait a second. I can do this with one hand. I'm pro like that. See that proness? One hand, son. One hand. Done that. Here, hold the camera.
Yeah, I'll hold the camera.
Hey, don't press any of the buttons on that. Okay. You know it zooms in too?
How?
Okay, look. See the buttons underneath right here? Those 2?
Oh.
You go ch.
You
While you're recording.
You can zoom at customers picking their
Okay,
noses
but
and
watch
stuff.
it. Don't press any buttons up here while you're zooming up. Don't press any of them buttons either.
Oh yeah. I'm zooming in on your butt only.
Okay, stop zooming in now. Put it back to normal. Is it back to normal?
Yeah.
Okay, stop zooming in.
I only zoom in when they
Stop
can't
zooming
read
in
it.
and out now,
When they can't
okay?
read it.
Stop.
Bacon!
Stop zooming in.
I didn't zoom it in!
Stop zooming in now.
I didn't zoom it in.
Okay.
Bacon.
Stop looking at bacon and crap.
What?
Next, we're
I've
gonna
tasted
get
that
3
bacon.
Gatorades. Let us
It
go
doesn't
get-
taste like human
what else are
bacon.
we supposed to get?
Tastes
Let's
disgusting.
go get the Mountain Dew.
Tristan, never put 4 Takis in your mouth at the same time. We can handle 4 Takis, but Tristan! Never put 4 Takis in your mouth and 2 breath mints or icebreakers.
No.
It's disgusting. 4 Takis and 2 icebreakers. Oh, it better not be out.
They are. They can't be.
Never. Can we really like zoom in like that? Oh yeah, we can.
Knock it off. Stop zooming.
No! Oh, I don't want this.
Yes.
Yes.
You're only supposed to get one of them, right?
Yeah, I know, one of them.
Okay. No more fountain breeze. Looks like we have to pick our own.
Well, can we pick 2 different ones?
I don't know.
Okay.
Let's see.
Higher.
Guess I'm gonna have to go with.
Wait, if there's
Oh.
Pepsi, Vaughn's brand, you can take that while I take
I don't want
something
Pepsi.
else. Oh, you don't want Pepsi? Oh, look at that
Let's check.
stove.
Oh well, I guess I'm gonna have to get
Bam, son.
Coca-Cola.
Here, you can get Coca-Cola.
What are you gonna get?
Root beer.
Let's mix them up. Get a different one. And that's how we do it.
Get a different one.
Okay.
You know, if you're on a TV show and you do something illegal, cops can trace you back to that.
Who cares? I don't think that's illegal.
Okay, let's act like this is a car, and I'm a little
Uh-oh,
grandkid.
they're coming down this aisle.
Okay.
Get out of this aisle. Get out of this aisle. Stop letting go. Okay, we're here. We're here with the melons.
Hey, Grandpa, you're
think
going
those are
50,
gonna be-
and the speed limit says 32.
Screw 32.
You're supposed to say, that's just a suggestion.
That's just a suggestion.
Like this, that's just a suggestion.
Yeah, what else are you supposed to get?
Well,
See the paper? See the paper? No, you don't. Hey.
that's it, paper. You're not doing anything right. 2% milk.
It's upside down. Okay, and then we got to get Gatorade. Where is the Gatorade aisle?
Probably gay.
Probably.
Go there. I'm not hanging up.
Here. Here, stop messing with the camera though. Don't touch anything.
Okay.
I didn't do it.
Flowers. Hallelujah.
Watch Dad see this video. He's like, man, these guys are stupid.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. That's beautiful. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Knock it off. What'd you press?
I didn't press nothing. Oh, what? I think I might have accidentally.
Okay, now start pressing stuff.
Okay.
Stop messing around.
Okay.
Let's go down this aisle. This is my aisle.
Beat. Oh, it was like Adrian.
I'll do it again. Record it.
I did record.
Okay.
Whoa. Eggs. Eggs. Eggs.
Where's
Eggs.
Gatorade out?
Can I zoom in for this one? Come on, eggs. I didn't zoom in.
That's it.
Don't be so mean.
Stress me out.
No, don't be so mean. Don't be so mean.
Gatorade's not that mad at him.
Yeah, we'll get on the last time.
Oh, here's Gatorade. Who's on the Gatorade, guys? Punch. Where's the punch?
It's fruit punch. Lame.
Found it. We're supposed to have 3 for a punch. Screw 3 for a punch. I want purple. Let's go with purple. Are you just gonna record stupid crap? I'll take it.
No.
Now let's see the camera. You take this.
Whoa.
Here, let's see. Okay, take that. Take this. Take this. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa.
I ran him over.
Okay, that's all we needed, right?
Did you just do that? I went to a random person and I ran him over.
Oh, you're so cool. We'll just browse around and
Never
see.
drive while you pull your
We'll just
pants
browse around while
You tried to figure it out.
Here.
Did you get the Gatorade?
Yeah, I got the
Why'd you get that one? It said fruit punch.
Yeah, but I wanted the grape. Okay? Finish making the video. Okay? Okay. We're gonna make a U-turn here.
It's upside down. I'm running. I'm running. I'm running. I'm running. I'm running. No, don't leave me. I'm this tall. Hey, I'm taller than you. I'm tall. Oh God. Oh God. She devil. She devil. You didn't even get the right thing.
Oh well.
You're supposed to get this.
Come on, let's go in the aisles.
We got everything. We need to go get the taco sauce. Run! Run! Run, Forrest, run! Run! Yeah! Run! Some say love is an angel. Let's go to a shorter line. Like that line.
This one. Look at that, look at the cake. You want cake? You take cake.
You have to be 18.
I'm not 18, you dumb shit.
Wink, wink.
You don't gotta be 18, do you?
Yeah, you have to be 18 for.
Try it, try it. Go up there. Hey, no.
Mom with you?
He's with me.
See? You're not allowed to have cake, mister. You're not allowed to have cake.
You want some cake?
No.
You want some cake? You
Oh,
just
I'm
got
fine.
served.
Give me a bite then.
Ow, see?
Oh.
Oh, boy.
Give me a... Here, hold the camera.
White.
I'm gonna bite
This
at this cake.
delicious bite. You zoomed in.